everybody. Welcome to week 14 and end of the season podcast. I'm Sam, and with us we have Rob. Mr. Rob, how's it going?
Well, pretty shitty, Sam. How you doing, man? I scored 53 points last week. That's about all I'm going to say about my game. Kudos to New Denver. But let's see. About all I got to say about your game. I got to talk about also Verdi a little bit, but you beat me at 57 and a half. I thought we were going to be. I was like, dude, I got to finish off with this big of a whimper, but thank God, Kelly Knights came through with that 47, dude.
47 last week. Yeah.
There were some shitty scores last week, man.
There is a lot of under 100 scores.
Yeah, if we have the benchmark of 100 as being, kind of, okay, you got there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Unfortunately, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 games under 65. So it was an atrocity, man.
Yeah, horrible. Well, let's look at the standings and let's go over who locked it in. And as we can see from Conference 1 here, New Denver has the bye. Zika has the clinch, and Wolfpack has the division.
Yeah, hey, kudos to New Denver for winning the division. Kudos to Wolfpack for pulling out that, whatever that division was. And somebody had to win it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to Zeke for getting in there. We'll talk a little bit about that game because that kind of run down here as we go. But, let's see. Gangrene sucks. Straight LA sucks. Kelly Knights, dude, you can't lose 4 in a row. Bruin, you're unlucky. And Zed, he was playing hard at the ending, so he didn't have to consider himself to be the worst team in the league this year. And,
Yeah.
And that's a big game there, right there. Zed Leflin and Brew Maniacs. We'll talk about that one. But, hey, kudos to our players there. I think I still go back to Mike in week 1 there, right, or week 2, and call New Denver. So we'll see. He's definitely got a shot.
Mm-hmm. And looking at Conference 2 here, High Rollers took the division and conference. Savs clinched the playoff, and, of course, in Division D there, Cold Blue won the division.
So, over in this division, we basically have first of all, congratulations to all 3 players on making the playoffs. It's always a tough gig. But, if I'm looking at this, dude, it's like we got the Patriots, the Steelers, and the fucking Packers out there, right? Wow, these guys made the playoffs again. Imagine that. So, some upstarts over there, try to get going. Some people hung around there for a while. Project Badass and El Oso Verde specifically gave it their best effort, but they just kind of, for various reasons, came up a little bit short. So,
yep, and you got to feel for El Oso because he had the highest score of the conference.
Well, yeah, he did. But, at the end of the day, as I've explained to him many times, we don't particularly care for rookies making the playoffs anyway. So we didn't want people, kicking his ass over here at the party.
Yeah, exactly. And on a personal note, Rob, I am glad this season's over. This is one of my worst seasons to record. It has to be one of my worst seasons ever. And
no, man, come on, 1,500 points, dude. Man, you average slightly over 100 points a week, man. That's pretty good work there, man.
Drafting the previous year's MVP, drafting the previous year's Rookie of the Year. You think I would have a solid, but you would think I would have a solid team, but that wasn't the case. So honestly, Rob, I'm glad the season's over.
Well, yeah, I would think so. And honestly, we can go right back to week 1 again, where Michael and I sat here and went, dude, are you crazy? That team wasn't very good to begin with. So better luck next year. And we said that at the get-go. But, let's just give out our Golden Goose Awards here. Straight LA and Zed Leflin tied for the worst record. So theoretically, the worst team in the league was Straight LA. But I don't know. He still beat you by about looks like 67 points there, Sam.
Point wise, yeah. My win. Let's face it. Those wins had to come from low scores, and my team just had to get low scores for me to win. Okay, let's just face it.
and we're splitting hairs when we're talking about 3 or 4 wins on being better. We're going to have to go off points here, Sam. So, dude, there is no money for you. But, kudos.
What? No money for the worst team in the league, huh?
No, dude, we'd have people throwing games left and right.
Yeah, towards the end. Well, Rob, let's get straight into it. We'll just blow past the match from last week because some of them didn't matter. Well, most of them didn't matter, and we'll talk about the matches that did matter. You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting though. They didn't really matter much, but we're going to blow through this. But they all kind of mattered outside of I think Kay and Big Dave's game. I mean, they all kind of mattered in some format. So you just roll them at me, I'll go as quick as I can.
Yep. Let's go with Straight LA versus Zika.
Zika virus, man. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about him later, but way to lock it down. 207, he was in there. If memory serves correct, it was. I'm taking a look back there. 8-6. He needed to win. He needed Brew Maniacs to lose, and he needed the points, right? And he got everything he needed there, right? And then, boy, did he get the points. 207, just about 18 points shy of a season high score. So, a great game. Le'Veon Bell, that was absurd, dude. I mean, that was absurd. What a great game. Tom Brady blowing it up. Everything kind of came together. So, great for him. Straight LA. There's next year, bro.
Next year, yeah.
All right.
Let's you, me, Straight LA next year, man. Next year. New Denver versus Gang Green. Tell me what happened, Rob.
My team sucks, dude. So I said that's all I'm going to say at the get-go. I kept this mess alive. I'll tell you what happened. It's been pointed out to me many times. Lamar Miller. Okay, so moving on, Sam. Kudos to Don.
Kudos to Don. Again, Rob, I keep saying Don's been up there in the 150 and 160 consistently.
Every week.
Man, that guy's been performing every single week. His team shows up every single week.
Yeah, but that's an interesting point. We'll jump on that real quick. It's he has been 150, 160 consistently, and that's good. That's solid. But is it a rut? I mean, if we were playing the playoffs this week and Zeke and him were playing, 152 ain't going to get it done.
True.
And, but it sure was able to get it done against 53. So we'll see.
By about 100, almost 100 points.
and he's got a lot of explosion he can still do there. So he doesn't have to worry about this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Next matchup: Wolfpack versus Kelly Knights.
Hey, kudos to Todd for winning. It's, how many games can you win around 110, 120 points? Or, he won with 98, right?
Yeah.
But he wins again. So good for him. Gets just enough every week. Sometimes the schedule smiles at you, sometimes it doesn't, man. And we've keep playing. It'll go both ways this year, and he certainly had years where the schedule has not smiled at him. He's a long-term player, so play for what are we in year 15, 16? I don't know. It's it kind of helped him out this year, and he did what he needed. And you can't really underestimate those running backs. That is a powerhouse in December. So. Yeah. And Kelly Knights, it just kind of all came crashing down.
Breeze has been looking mediocre these last few weeks.
Yeah. And, lack of wide receivers and everything, but dear God, that team's too good to put up a 47. This gentleman did not deserve the insult of that game.
Yeah.
That's just where but we all have one game like that every year. I happen to have two this year. So, moving on.
Yep. Let's go. Breeze through. Ruined Maniacs versus Zed.
All right, we'll pause here for just a second because, I'll give it up to Scotty here for playing hard right down the stretch. Interestingly enough, he was one of the better teams the last 5 weeks of the season. He went 3-2, right? The only problem was he had that little 0-9 start, right?
Yes.
So, but he certainly did a nice job of jacking up seasons. He pretty much took me out. He took Kelly Knights out. He took, not that we were going to be big threats in the playoffs or anything, but Kelly Knights might have been. But and then he rolls in here and he takes Burn Maniacs out. So,
it's weird. Hey, Rob, can you tell me about Blount's score there? I see some points there, but he has 0 points.
Yeah, no, Gronk didn't.
Blount, LeGarrette Blount.
What?
LeGarrette Blount for Zed Leopard.
Oh, wow, it didn't add up. That's interesting. Let me do a format paint. It probably got copied over incorrect. I don't know why it's doing that. That's most bizarre. Well, anyway, he picked up 17, so he actually ended up with 146.5. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to go out of my way to, what do you say, send out an amended deal here tonight, because you know what? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter right now. I will make sure I'll include that in the email, when it goes out.
Yeah, but whatever. But hey, he beat you by even more points, Sam. I don't know why they didn't add up. I didn't even notice it. We have an auto sum in there. Anyway, enough of that gibberish. So kudos to Zed Leplin there, and way to get it done. Byrne, he did the best he could with that team. It was downright scary at times, but he never really could get the running backs together. And Des Bryant, man, kind of a disappointment.
One catch and one fumble.
And again, I'll be quite clear. I've made my thoughts clear on this division. I mean, you have 4 teams here that did not have very good teams in general. Every single one of them is flawed in one way. Wolfpack, lack of quarterbacks. Burn Maniacs, just underperformers from top draft picks. Zed Leplin, just awful. And Kelly Knights, no wide receivers, right? And so, again, somebody had to win the division. That's how the cards shook out. And, maybe I get a division like that next year. I can deal with losing to Dawn and Zika in that division. Had I been down here in this one and I had not made the playoffs, I might have had to hang it up here. So,
all right.
It's not a good team. Not a good division, man.
Scott, you had a good run towards the end there. Your start was just too bad for you to, too bad for you to make up. Too much for you to make up.
Who's that? Me?
No, Scott. He had a good run towards the end. The start.
Yeah.
He just couldn't make it up, man.
So what you're saying is basically we've always debated it's always tough to go 0-2, and then 0-3 you're almost like, now I'm really pushing. But then you get to 0-4 and you're like, dude, it's like over. And then 0-5 you're like, what the hell's going on? And 0-6 you're like, man, do I still mathematically have a chance? And you mean 0-7? Like, holy crap, dude. I mean, dude, this is like sub-Lisa territory. Then you go 0-8 and you're like, oh my God, dude, this is mortifyingly horrible. I should just go burn all my Niners shit. And you go, man, but even they won their first game. Then you get all the way to 0-9. So he proved the fact that 0-9, if you start 0-9, you will not make the playoffs.
Yep. I like I said, I started my first year 0-4, and I made the playoffs the backdoor way. I needed a lot of people to lose and everything, and I was able to go into the playoffs there. But Well, Sam,
at the same time, I'm going to have to tell you that next year, you keep talking about that 0-4 start you did into that back door, but hey, try doing it at 0-9, man.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
That would really show something, dude.
Oh yeah.
So if we needed the theory proven that 0-9 did not make the playoffs, thank you, Scotty, for solidifying that for us.
Let's go over to the next conference here. Let's talk about Project Badass versus Savs.
We're going to talk about Savs later. Just workmanlike performance out of Savs there. At this point in the season, this team's better. I don't, I'm not quite sure what the love was with the Raiders going up against the Chiefs this weekend. I mean, has anybody seen Derek Carr play the Chiefs in his career? And I had to start freaking Cooper simply because I had no other healthy people on my team. And it was like, I think, God, you're not going to start Carr. And I went, why? I mean, do I really care about 5 points? But see, even I overestimated Derek Carr's abilities in that game. He came in at 3. The Raiders, they're a cute team and everything. Everybody blabbers on about them all the time. Like, I guess if you play in a sewer, you should get a little love, which they do, incidentally. So, not quite there yet. So, that's all I really have to say on that game. I hate the fucking Raiders, so let's move on.
Yeah, and
go Chiefs.
Yeah,
go Chiefs.
Good win there. Let's go to High Rollers versus Turf Burners.
Hey, wait, shit, hold on. That was Tyreek Hill running right by me. It's like a blur, dude. My bad, dude. My bad. Oh, man. I hope he didn't hit that tripwire hanging over my house, man, to talk about the ducks that were flying around here. I don't know. Anyway, Turf Burners, High Rollers. High Rollers, man, game of the year, 92-61.
92-61. Horrible.
So moving on, Sam.
Moving on.
Say about that?
Nothing about that game. Humanoid Typhoon versus El Oso. I just barely put up 57 points, barely. Again, worst season ever. I'm glad the season's over. Nolan, you're a great addition to the league. It looked like he almost was going to make the playoffs, but maybe next year, Nolan.
Or maybe not. So, I mean, good start for him. It's pretty sad, though, Sam. I'll have to point out that it's anytime we can say you got doubled up and the other team put up 115, man, you didn't have a good week, right? Because 115 definitely doesn't get it done this week too often. Yeah, no, hey, kudos to the kid. He put a good job out there. He struggled with the defenses a lot at the beginning of the season, as a lot of us did. And, Dude, I go through with them a lot. This is the last time I talk about it. It's, hey, there's, you have your moments. Oh, well, you just draft good players. There's no luck to it. I go, yeah, well, wait till the injuries kick in, and wait till the weather kicks in, and wait till, teams stop playing, and wait till they bench players, and, all that. There's an awful lot that goes into it. I wish it was dumb luck, dude. I mean, I have better luck at the damn poker table, so. But, hey, good job for him, and, he got a couple awards this year, so pretty nice start for him. Proud of him. Good job.
Yep, good job. Let's go to our last matchup from last week, Code Blue versus the Fat Wagon.
Hey, and the only thing I have to say on this game, because we're going to talk about Code Blue more, is Fat Wagon actually managed to go the entire season without making one pickup, and, I mean, even for him, that's rare. He usually makes at least one when he's somewhat in contention, so, you always just kind of wonder what would happen if he monitored said team, but he drafts well, I guess. Good thing he held on to Jamal Charles.
Yeah, and let's look at Code Blue's team here. That Adrian Peterson pickup, right, Rob? Right, he practiced today.
Yeah, he's back in practice, but at to what level? And one thing about that is everybody. It's like all of a sudden Adrian Peterson's going to hit the ground running. As if he's in mid-season form at 26 years old. Because, those other guys they employ behind that great offensive line, the fact that they're not driving buses or, picking up trash around the stadium is mind-boggling. So the fact that they have not got 100 yards rushing as a team, he should just step right in there and probably score 4 touchdowns and 180 yards, yeah. Even for Tate, that was an outside pick, but I guess he thought he had a shot. Unfortunately for him, guys that he really wants out there, like Melvin Gordon, went down for the year. So
Melvin Gordon's out for the year.
I guess it's a good security blanket. Lamar Miller actually showed lack, but I'm not going to get any big uproar about Adrian Peterson changing the outlook of the NFL, much less our fantasy league this year. So.
And of course, look at Atlanta with that 48 points there. Jeez.
Who's that?
Atlanta, 48 points. What was that? That was against the Rams, right?
Well, yeah, man. And I'm saying, do that again. But then this week they play the Niners, right?
Oh,
so
man.
It's fully feasible that they could do it again. Maybe that was his best pick of the whole year,
Niners
lost there on draft night.
Oh, my God. But anyway.
Sitting there waiting for his wife to go into labor and going, man, if I pick up Atlanta, I mean, I know they suck, but let's say I need to win a game in Week 14 and in the first round of the playoffs, I am set, so... I mean, it turns out it's a great 2-week pickup, man.
Yeah. All right. So, congrats to Tay for making the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Congrats to all those guys, man.
Yep. Hey, let's talk about the playoffs.
Playoffs, what?
Playoffs. Let's go with the first matchup, Wolfpack versus Zika. What do you think about this matchup, Rob?
I actually sat down and studied this matchup, both matchups before I got on the call here. And, here's the thing. Zika virus is a way higher ceiling team, right? There's no question about it. I mean, way more explosive. He actually has functional quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
Albeit the Jameis Winston has not played that bad as of late. Luck, Brady, Taylor Winston. Usually, I would say a game over.
Yeah.
So here's the problem this week. I'm going to put my money on Wolfpack, dude, because Luck's going. Well, okay. You want to talk matchups? Okay, first of all, Tom Brady's going in there into Denver, right?
Yep.
So, that's where quarterbacks go to flourish. And look over here. And Luck has to play Minnesota, a very elite secondary, And I'm not saying that either of these guys are going to get shut out, but they're not going to be putting up 43 and 28. That seems like a stretch.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, he's absolute bell cow going out there. I'm looking for Pitt on here. Yeah, playing Cincy, that's a pride game. That one could go either way. Now, I do love, maybe a saving grace, Devontae Freeman going up against the Niners. And, and this is obviously before guys make moves, just looking at the rosters and whatnot. Julio Jones against the Niners, there's potential there. And then you look down at Wolfpack and you go, well, you got Johnson going up against freaking, who is it? New Orleans, okay, Murray against Kansas City. They just lost their star inside linebacker. I mean, there's potential there. He's loaded up down there.
Yeah.
Hilton's kind of a washout. It's going to be close. This should be a blowout by far. where Zeke just tears him up and Todd goes,
Yeah.
oh, it is last game, but but I think he's got a really good shot, and I don't, let me retract what I said earlier about Zeke, that I'm giving it to Wolf. I'm just saying this game shouldn't even be close, but Zeke is kind of a matchup hell there, dude.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, yep, makes sense.
It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have a fairly low-scoring game here, and it really, man. I mean, you break it down, and one big performance may do it. By the way, I think Le'Veon Bell can absolutely go off against Cincinnati. There's no question about that. If he does, I mean, he's not going to get 73. Nobody ever gets 73 in this league. We get maybe one or two scores every year if we're lucky at that, right? If he does and Freeman does what I think he's going to do, it may be too much. It may be enough to hold him off, but we'll see.
Well, it'll also be interesting what Zika does with Forte because he's out, for the season. Let's see who he picks up. Does he pick up the running back Powell, who also does well? So we'll see how that goes. Of course, pick up. So you're giving the slight edge to Wolfpack, huh, Rob?
Well, yeah, I mean, does Julio Jones play, man? I mean, are you even able to get a report by, I'll let these guys go to 6 o'clock on Saturday, before they need to get their picks in. And it's, I mean, are you going to be able to get a report out of him that he's going to play? I mean, is Marshall going to do anything? Kelsey against Tennessee might be attractive. I don't think wide receivers are going to win this game. I really think it's going to come down to, it's tough to say that Zeke is, he's thrown up some 80s here recently, too. This team can go either way. He's a 210 or like an 80 guy. I mean, I love both these guys. They're both great friends of mine. I wish them both the best. I'm just talking straight football analytics here. And you can't love a team built on Luck and Brady, which is an absolute fantastic matchup. What you did not want to see was Minnesota and Denver this week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, but you definitely have good points about that. So cool.
Well, yeah,
cool.
I'm a genius. I know that the Denver Broncos and the Minnesota Vikings have good defenses against the pass, man.
Yeah. Well, let's go over to the other matchups. Savs versus Code Blue. What do you think about that?
When I was tearing through this game, man, this one is tough. Savs. Okay, first of all, these two teams right here. Basically, Savs drafted a good team and won an extremely difficult division over there. I mean, when we're kind of giggling about turf runners like 4 or 5 wins, I mean, he got beat up with the injuries. I mean, that division was brutal, and they drafted like it meant something to them, and they played like it meant something to them. So coming out of that division says a lot. And Code Blue drafted a lousy team. I mean, he'd be the first to tell you that. Who even knows who was on that team to begin with outside of, Johnson and probably Miller and Gordon, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think any of those wide receivers were on that team to begin with, right? Yeah. But you got 2 team managers, so it's almost, 2 great fantasy team managers here that made great moves this year, which they both do quite a bit, and as the pickup sheets come out here pretty soon, we'll attest. We got the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees going on in this thing, and which, hey, great for the league, man, trust me. Yeah. But not when we're giving the money back to them necessarily. It's supposed to be going to the gangrene. So what I'm getting at here is Code Blue, looking at him on the screen right now, he's just decimated by injury. I mean, Peterson's not going to come in and make a difference this week. He's first of all not going to play this week.
Not this week.
And well, not any week. And I mean, if Minnesota happens to luck into the playoffs, I guess he's better than Asiata or whatever. But Johnson, Miller, you figure those guys will be out there. Other than that, I have no idea what this guy's team's going to look like, man.
Yeah. Because you'll have to replace Gordon, you know what I mean? You'll have to replace him. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to roll Matt Stafford out there with a broken finger? I mean, I have no clue. And if you don't think, I mean, Jaime just makes moves. Both these guys just make moves to make moves, dude, sometimes, I mean, to a little bit, they play it like it's a weekly fantasy league. And this fight is in no stretch of imagination taken away from them. They make great moves, but, I mean, they throw a lot of stuff out there, so it's impossible to tell. If I'm looking at the teams right now, I don't know. It's going to be a tough call with Savs on luck. What do you do there? I mean, hope to get by this week without him, or, hey, if you lose this week, it's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, just try your luck again next week. I have no idea. Spencer Ware, is he, you're obviously feeling pretty good with Le'Veon Bell and probably Carlos Hyde out there, right? But is Watkins back? These teams are both banged up. If I was going to take a guess, let's see, Tay gets the number one on it. Well, I mean, obviously it's high rollers. If you go in draft order, I'm going to just simply pick Tay only because I expect, 7 moves out of these guys, and he gets to go before Savs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's about the best thing I can come up with.
Yeah.
Again, seriously, the only guy at Savs, Bell and Hyde will be playing. You got to figure Evans and Watkins are probably out there. And then you go down here to Code Blue and you go Johnson, probably Miller, probably Kelsey. New England and Atlanta, man, are both, hell, he could probably get away with flexing, defense this week. They're both great matchups, right?
Yeah.
It's, but that's it. I have no other guarantees of anybody on those rosters sitting on my screen right now that will actually be playing. So, right?
Yeah. You know what? I honestly didn't even know when he dropped Dak Prescott. I mean, because Prescott's been on fire before the last game, and then for him to drop him to pick up, I don't even know who he picked up, but I was like, wow, that's pretty handy,
First of all, Dak Prescott has thrown 3 touchdowns in his last 3 games, and if I'm not mistaken, this is probably a little off. It hasn't even exceeded 200 yards in you.
No. He's a game manager, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's never been on fire. I mean, he's not a great fantasy quarterback. He's had a couple games this year where the situation allowed for it. But I mean, the knock on Prescott, which I think is going to hang around with him for quite a bit. From what I remember coming out of college, he doesn't have a great long ball, and you wouldn't know. He did make that one nice pass to Des Bryant this year, and he managed to not fumble it in a critical situation, right? So, but I don't know. I have no prediction.
Yeah, this is a tough one right here. Well, like you said, Rob.
Bigger question, Sam. Here's a bigger question: can either of these guys beat high rollers, and can either of the guys in the other division beat New Denver? I mean, let's not forget about them, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm looking at high rollers with a 92, but that's not very typical of him, right?
Yeah.
So this guy explosive. Savs and Code Blue are great players. They can be explosive too. It's an interesting playoffs over there.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because you got 3 great teams going at it there. And you got 3 great teams on the other side. I don't want to downplay them, but it's just, I know these guys. I know their history in here, and we got some champions rolling here. We got Savs is 1-1, Code Blue's 1-1, 1 or 2, right?
Code Blue 1-1, yes.
Yeah, so you got a couple champs out there. It's tough. High rollers has been close a couple times. It's a tough matchup. But enough of that. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for a great season. Sam, thank you so much for a great season. I greatly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's a great season, guys. Keep it up. Are we doing one more podcast next week before?
Yeah, we can roll podcasts all you want, man. Through the ending.
Yeah. We normally don't do one at the end of the the last matchup, but yeah, we'll have one more podcast, and that will conclude our podcast for the season. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Rob, thank you. And make those moves, guys. $10 a move now, right? Playoffs, guys.
$10 a move, reverse order. So I believe it goes high rollers, Code Blue, Savs, and on the flip side, I believe it goes New Denver, Wolfpack, and Zika. And yes, I wish all our teams good luck. These things are very hard to win. So I know for a fact I've done it 3 times. And go Chiefs, man.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Take care.